Go nuts!
This is Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Drew Barrett.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious...
Your Razorbacks are 2021 SEC champions, and Baum-Walker Stadium is an insane asylum.
I have been waiting for this moment for a long time.
Judging by the sound of it, so has everyone else.
Hey, hold on, it's almost halftime.
Who's ready for 3 days of fun and sun and no work? Well, I guess for some of us, don't have to worry about doing too much work in the next few days. 3-day weekend begins right now. Let's just turn these next 2 hours into really the start of the weekend on halftime. Phil Elson, Drew Barrett, Matty T, and you for the next couple of hours. I kind of wondered if that's the way you wanted to look at it here, Drew, because on the rundown you did have the phrase "Mail-in Friday." You took that away, though.
I did take it away because
you noticed how much prep we started putting on our rundown here. You thought I was just going to sleep in late and just show up and and go.
I thought we called it "Phone It In" Friday.
We could call it whatever you want, but I mean it's getaway day. What it really is. I'm headed back to Memphis this weekend. I'm sure Phil's got some great plans, and so does Matty T, and all of you listeners out there for 4th of July weekend. This would be the ideal mail-it-in Friday. The ideal, we'll just sit here and, we'll play music, or, we'll turn into a DJ station for a couple hours, or, we might mention some sports, or we'll just sit here in silence and wait till 1 o'clock rolls in. But then you did not take the bait. You did not go along with mailing it in on this lovely Friday before 4th of July and started putting everything down on the rundown. So I had to put my game day hat back on and really get back into the mental focus of doing the best 2 hours in live radio.
This gets into a little bit of the, I think it's the first, I don't know if I'd call it an argument that you and I had. We do come from different sports worlds, and I remember talking about the idea of getaway day for college baseball.
Yes.
And it's a lot different between the level that Arkansas plays at. Maybe it's just because of the way they travel, doubtful, and some of the other college teams that have to ride, an 8 or 10 hour bus after playing a Sunday day game. And I remember what that was like in the minor leagues when it really was about trying to get out of there as quickly as you could. So yeah, I can see how you're approaching this today. You want today to be everybody uses one bat, one pitch.
That's it.
The Bucks to a 3-2 series advantage over the. I'm not going to call them my Atlanta Hawks anymore. The whole Jamie Gertz thing didn't work out, Drew. I'm sorry.
Well, fine. I will allow the one-time only switch here for you, Phil. I will allow you to switch over to the Milwaukee Bobby Portises.
You can let me be a front runner in this case?
Yes, I will let you switch, but
our listeners
you got to lock it in then.
I've already given up on my favorite Major League Baseball team for obvious reasons, and that's something I get into later on, too. But here's Bobby Portis starring yesterday for Milwaukee.
Capella keeps it alive, stripped by Lopez. Portis on the run and stops. The Bucks 20, the Hawks 7.
What a start for Milwaukee at both ends of the floor. They are locked in defensively here.
Middleton. For Torres. For Torres.
New play on high now for Bobby Portis. 22 in the starting role for Giannis Antetokounmpo.
He played 33 minutes or so, and 8 rebounds, 2 steals, runs the floor like you remember watching him run the floor for Mike Anderson's Razorbacks. And Bobby Portis, they call him a fan favorite now in Milwaukee. Just 1 year in, and probably be the only year the way he's played off the bench and now in the spotlight, in a starting role in a pivotal game in the playoffs. And Bobby Portis describing himself in the way that I think a lot of Razorback fans remember him here in Arkansas.
Milwaukee's a tough city. You know, we was meeting with start of the season, about January, February, and they were just telling us all about the city and how tough it is to live here and things like that. And, you know, the city goes through a lot. So when they see somebody that gives his all and, you know, work hard, because it's a blue-collar city, and I'm a blue-collar player, whether I'm making shots, whether they're going in or not, I still give my all to the team, get 100% for the name on the front of the jersey. And they love players like that. And, you know, it's just fun, man, to go out there and play this game and, you know, have the home court advantage as well, and just to get them involved just so we can, you know, have that home court advantage.
And you really do like how, Drew, he points to the idea of playing for the front of the jersey when this is someone who recently was just out of the rotation. He was sitting for 3 games in these playoffs, in these very playoffs. And you know, championship teams quite often do have to overcome injuries of their stars for a limited amount of time, and it does take someone like Bobby Portis stepping up into that role like he did yesterday. It didn't have to be Giannis, but all he had to do was be Bobby Portis. And if you get that from Bobby Portis in a playoff game that's pretty pivotal, you know, Bobby's going to talk about playing for the city right now and what's in the front of the jersey, but he made himself some money for the back of the jersey for next year going into the offseason yesterday.
He really did, and you knew a guy like Bobby Portis, who's been a team basketball guy his entire NBA career, was going to when an opportunity like this presented itself, was going to step up and really show what he is worth to the NBA. And 22 points, 8 rebounds, that's just phenomenal. But the main thing that I don't know how much you like to weigh on plus minuses in basketball, but the matter of fact is that all 5 of the starting Bucks were in the plus minus, and Brook Lopez, a guy that has been a guy who's had a long NBA career. I don't know if anybody would ever say he was an all-star, a great player, led the team in 33 points. Drew Holiday obviously continuing to show how big of a get that was in last season's in the offseason last year, headed into the year from New Orleans. How much of an impact that he has made, 25 points, 13 assists. And going into game 5, with Giannis and Trae Young out, just looking at the rosters on face value, you knew the Bucks just had more. They had more on the bench. They had more reserve. They had more to be able to make up for their star being gone, and that's taken away nothing from Capellas and the rest of them on Atlanta. But at this point, Game 6 looks to me like a shoe-in for the Bucks, and they're about to reach the NBA Finals. And hopefully by then Giannis can be able to come back.
But Portis averaged just under 21 minutes per game in the regular season, and in these playoffs is averaging less than that. It goes out last night, 33 to 34 minutes, and puts together a performance like that. So love it. Bobby's one of my favorite Razorbacks that I've been able to watch up close, and it seems that Milwaukee, you know, has zeroed in on. You can't call it an everyman quality when you're at that size and that athletic ability, but when you play with that kind of outward emotion, and the crazy eyes gets, you know, a lot of attention, and the T-shirt that he'll wear under the jersey that makes him, as I've seen written before, look like he's coming in for a pickup game. You know, that does give him a little bit of that everyman quality to him. You know, that's a guy that you would you'd appreciate on any team. The selflessness is really what it sounded like from Bobby Portis in a lot of those quotes. All right, and people are worried about selfishness with name, image, and likeness amongst college sports and college athletes. And you did have a couple of the Razorbacks sign NIL sponsorships yesterday. I don't think they would have been the 2 first Razorbacks anybody would have thought that did. And you also saw Kevin Kopps apparently join something that's being called Barstool Athletes, which right now doesn't mean anything, but maybe eventually it might. Some folks thought that meant Kevin Kopps was going to come back for another season at Arkansas. I think if that's happening, I've got about 5 different bridges to sell you. Because Kevin Kopps ain't coming back for another baseball season. No, sir.
Oceanfront property in Arizona, too, while you're at it?
Exactly, yeah. And nobody needs to be heading for that right now. All right, back after this on Halftime. Stay with us.
Previously on Ruskin and Zach.
But I was thumbprinted for the first time in my life today.
Really?
Yeah. Never been thumbprinted. Ever. Not in an official capacity. You know, you goof around with ink as a kid, but I've never officially had prints taken until today.
Really?
Yes. So, have you had prints taken?
8 times.
8 times.
Check out the Fish City Grill Ruskin and Zach podcast on hitthatline.com or search Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts.
What is your vehicle worth? How about a free appraisal? Get one this weekend before 4th of July at Harry Robinson's Salisaw Ford, 1 mile south of exit 308 on 540 in Salisaw. Troy Horn is here. Troy, some people might find out that the car they purchased 6 months ago might be worth more today than what they paid for it 6 months ago.
It really is crazy.